as though it was his decision.
Well, I'm not a hostage negotiator, and so I can speculate, but that wouldn't be right, or that wouldn't be fair, because then you wouldn't be getting accurate information. So.
And there were initially customers in the bank at 148 when this began.
That's what we heard.
They ran out.
When we first arrived on scene, we learned that several customers fled immediately.
Okay, and then everybody in there was an employee.
The hostages that remained were all employees of the bank.
There's a picture floating around social media of an officer with a piece of pizza or a cardboard box full of pizza. Are you aware of that? Did that happen?
Of course it happened.
Can you tell us about that and how that came to be?
We take care of our people. They need to eat. And they were out there for 8 hours, and they were working in shifts. So.
But did they offer it to the hostage holder inside?
Oh, that I'm not sure of. And they very well may have, but I don't know.
Looks like they were delivering pizzas to them.
And they may have, and as well as for the hostages. That's not uncommon. I thought you meant our officer specifically.
You mentioned, Chief, that the suspect has an extensive criminal record. Did any of those crimes that he was accused of or convicted of in the past have anything to do with this particular bank or other banks?
Not to my knowledge, but from what I saw, I gave it a cursory glance today, and that's some violent stuff.
Can you recall, Chief, the last time you had a bank robbery incident, maybe not even necessarily of this magnitude, but even to the extent of someone passing a letter to the teller? Has anything like that happened in recent?
Yeah, regrettably, it hasn't been long enough, but I think that incident is still in active investigation, and so the FBI would have jurisdiction over that now. But yes, we've had bank robberies in St. Cloud before.
Can you tell us any more about that cash that was apparently flung out when I think it was the first hostage was released? What was that all about?
The only information I got was that he threw a bunch of cash out the front door.
The suspect threw it out?
Yes.
Chief, it seems whenever a hostage was released, the FBI agents on scene checked on them. What were they exactly checking for?
Just checking their general condition, just making sure there were no injuries, and certainly, again, we're glad that none of them suffered any physical injuries, but you can rest assured that they're going to have some psychological effects, and so we actually will be reaching out to those victims here in the very near future to offer them some debriefing services.
When is the, I guess, the 36-hour clock expired?
Yeah, that's weird.
When do you have, what's the deadline you have to charge?
We should have something taken care of by tomorrow.
Anything else?
Did we get the spelling of the suspect's name?
Yes, Ray, R-A-Y, Rico, R-E-C-O, McNeary, M-C, capital N-E-A-R-Y. Did I get that right, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Excuse me there. We just want to give a recap exactly what we were told by authorities there in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Here's what we know so far. We know the customer was disgruntled after a transaction from one of his accounts at the bank, at that Wells Fargo bank. You're just seeing some video from earlier. The police received a panic alarm. Once they got there, they discovered that several people had already fled the bank, although 5 bank employees remained and were held hostage. Remember, that was a number that we had been wondering about. How many people were actually inside during the extent of the hostage situation? 5 hostages. A suspect then asked for police to call the FBI to get the FBI involved. You heard from officials there. They said they had contact with the suspect in every way possible. One of those possible ways includes putting written notes up against the drive-through window of the bank itself. And so they are still a little ambiguous. They couldn't give a full direct answer on exactly if there was a weapon. Remember, we heard from a witness recounted to us from our reporter on the ground that witness had said the suspect had some type of gun, but police said they're not clear the suspect had a weapon. There's still ongoing information to be had on that front at the moment, but don't get the police wrong. They said there were still moments when the suspect was a very active threat. To the suspect, he's being identified as Ray Rico McNeary. You heard police there say they had, they had multiple run-ins and contact with this individual dating back about a decade. And so that was significant as well. There you can see some of those hostages being taken out of the bank from earlier. And so we're learning that he'll be charged with kidnapping and bank robbery. The whole reason this ended was we heard from police that the last hostage in the bank with the suspect, with McNeary, took a run for the door, and that's when units stormed into the bank. We also learned that the suspect was supposed to be in court today on violation, some type of violation, and we know he had a prior dispute with the bank itself. But I found the most interesting part of that to be that police have known this suspect for well over a decade. He's been associated with committing violent crimes. And we're learning from the attorney there, who also came to the podium, charges of kidnapping and bank robbery will be filed. They're trying to determine what jurisdiction those charges will be filed as well. And so at the moment, we're learning the suspect's name, Ray Rico McNeary. But you heard time and time again from officials there on the scene and in that briefing from police that they are just so thankful that all 5 hostages are safe and sound tonight on this Thursday. Well, that is going to do it for us and our live coverage here on News Now from Fox on this Thursday. At this time of night, as you know, we do go into our overnight compilation of events that we've already shown you throughout the day. We're going to show them to you again on the overnight until we pick it back up live again, 6 a.m. Eastern, as we always do, to finish out the week strong. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at newsnow-from-fox. That's our handle. You can give me a follow on Twitter at Andrew Kraft. That is my handle. And also go visit our website, newsnow-from-fox.com, for all the latest on where you can find us, how you can stream us. So for all of us here at News Now from Fox, hope you have a great night. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.